of the Best Artist or Celebrity Interview Award from the 2019 Intercollegiate Broadcasting System. The station where celebrities love to talk.
FM,
HD,
Amazon Echo,
Google Home,
The TuneIn Radio app,
the iHeartRadio app,
and nccradio.org.
This is 90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD.
Garden City,
Long Island.
New York. .3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Welcome to another edition of From the Press Box. I am Rob Leonard. Joining me is my brother and award-winning sports writer Tim Leonard.
How you doing?
As we talk sports every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Also, we are part of the WHPC Sports Talk family, and Sports Talk currently is on 5 o'clock on Mondays, 5 o'clock on Tuesdays, Thursdays at 9 p.m., and Fridays at 3 p.m. There will be some changes coming up soon. We can't announce them yet, but there'll be some changes, and that's a good thing, at least for the summer. And there'll be even more sports talk, I believe. So keep it tuned here to WHPC, where you can call in at 516-572-7440 if you want to have any comments to give about the week in sports. I think we start off, brother, with...
Two things, brother. More sports. I'm going to quote Bart Scott on that.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Okay, well, that's
all right.
Good.
And two, I will give you full credit for choice of song to lead us off today.
Thank you. I'm a disc jockey.
Because why did you play that song? You probably don't even realize it.
I have no idea, brother. If it's coming from you who knows nothing about music,
that is incorrect.
Except the alarm.
Because
and
I
Pat
know
Benatar, Casey
I
and the
know
Sunshine
I know
Man.
10,000 Maniacs.
Okay.
And that song is What's the Matter Here?
Right.
And What's the Matter Here is Dave Gettleman.
Well, hold on. I want to start with the Islanders. We have to start with the Islanders because that's much more important right now. The Islanders are 2-0.
We're in trouble.
Down. They had a home ice advantage.
Yes.
But as our friend Rob Tuck said,
See ya.
No, the Barclays is away. It's an away game for the Islanders.
In a lot of ways, that is correct.
And they lost both games at the Barclays Center. Brother, this is what happened on Friday. I'm driving to WHPC because I do a great show, and if I must say it myself,
wow,
Beatles songs every Friday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m.
I was wondering what the great show was.
I'm driving by the Coliseum, and I'm like, tonight's the playoff game.
Yes.
But I see no cars there.
You see emptiness.
I see emptiness.
You see a void.
And I say, what the hell is wrong with this? And you know what I said? I said, screw you, Gary Bettman. Screw you.
It was probably in stronger language than that because I know you don't like Gary Bettman.
I might have used the F word. I don't know.
Be careful. Mom is on the Facebook Live.
Well, good. Anyway, so I'm like, damn Gary Bettman. Oh, the Coliseum's not a professional enough place. Well, I know the Islanders would have won at least one of those games.
I will tell you why they should have won. At least game one.
At least game one, I agree.
Because I'm not somebody who normally complains about referees. I understand that they're human. I understand that mistakes are made. But Anders Lee wound up being called for goalie interference on a play where Matthew Barzal came from behind the net. And this is game one, not game two. But Barzal came around from behind the net, bangs a puck in, and not only does the referee wave the goal off, but he calls Anders Lee for goalie interference on a play where the Carolina defenseman clearly pushes him into the goalie.
Right.
Now, goalie interference is supposed to be called when an opposing player enters the crease area when a shot is happening.
Right.
The only reason Anders Lee entered the crease area and also made contact with the goalie is because the Hurricanes defenseman pushed him into the crease. Manhandled him into the crease, actually. How this wasn't seen is beyond any sort of logic.
I agree.
Common sense. And look at what happened in the game. 0-0, it goes to overtime. Carolina wins, four and change in. They get the goal. That one goal would have decided the game.
Yep, should be 1-1.
So I was just flabbergasted by it. And then to see what happened yesterday, where basically the Hurricanes played one good minute of hockey because the Islanders had more of that game. They wound up hitting the crossbar twice. You know how hard it is to hit the crossbar? The post is hard enough.
Yep.
But the post goes up and down for several
and there's
feet.
two of them.
The crossbar, you're talking about, maybe like 3 or 4 inches of metal going across.
Maybe.
It's not easy to hit. The Islanders hit 2 of them, and then hit another post. Let's face facts. The Islanders right now, I'm not going to panic because I have faith in Coach Trotz, but they're in trouble.
I think so.
And Game 3, obviously being down 2-0 in a best-of-7 series, Game 3 is a must-win. It's not even a maybe win. It's a must-win. And then Game 4, assuming the Islanders do win Game 3, Game 4 is pretty damn close to a must-win.
Well, both games are because, let's say they split it, which would be the old days a good thing if the Islanders had won.
Well, if they had split, then it would be 2-2.
So you would want a split. So I'll take a split, but at the same time, at this point, I want 2-2 because I think right now one of the things I hate about the Barclays Center is that the ice is frozen milk in many cases because it's not the Coliseum ice, and the Coliseum ice is better ice because it's made for hockey, where the Barclays Center, God knows what, they have the nets. There's nothing wrong with that because the Garden does that. Not that they've ever had the best ice in the world, but there are ways.
Garden ice is terrible.
But there are ways of having ice with a basketball court over.
But the Nets hadn't been playing for several days. Their season was over.
Still.
And that's what our man Bob Tuck was. He was at the game. He was at Game 1.
Right.
And
for the Islanders, we should.
Yeah, and he was. We were talking on Facebook between periods. And he said the ice is terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can the ice be terrible? The Nets haven't been playing for several days.
Because it's got to get going. It takes a couple of days to get
it doesn't.
frozen.
It's always frozen underneath. All you have to do is run the Zamboni a few times, shave it down, flood it again, and I mean it's not difficult. It's not a difficult process.
It's not like making ice cubes in the refrigerator or the freezer.
It basically is, though.
It is and it isn't because it's got to get really.
Trust me, I know about this stuff.
You don't make ice cubes at home. What are you talking about?
You know how many Zamboni drivers I've talked to in my life?
More than me, I know that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's not a difficult process, and when you have several days to do it, there's no excuse for the ice to be bad. None.
I agree with that.
So I mean that is one of many problems with the Barclays Center is that I'm not going to complain about the ice because it's the same for both teams. But when you're talking about the playoffs, then you should have everything be as close to perfect as possible. That is, something. It's a situation you can control. And that was one of the really bad things about playing in the Barclays Center.
Well, the funny thing is, both arenas are ran by the same company, so that's very strange.
Well, but I could envision a letdown as soon as it was announced that the Islanders will be playing round 1 of the playoffs in Nassau Coliseum, and then after that we'll go to the Barclays Center. And we said it on the show. Yep. It was at least a month and a half ago, where we said that the Barclays Center would be a letdown.
It would be,
and
it has been.
And I know people who were at the game, and they were talking about how the fans seem more fair weather at the Barclays Center. I don't know why, because I assume it's a lot of the same people who are going, but a friend of mine was there, and he said there were people behind him that when the Islanders, when they didn't shoot the puck when they wanted them to, or when they shot the puck and it got blocked or whatever, they were like, oh, they're bums. I'm like, what kind of, why are you even at the game if A, you know so little about the sport, and B, that you're such a fair weather fan? Let somebody who wants those tickets have them.
I agree, but
it was just, when I heard the stories about the way the fans were behaving at the Barclays Center, I was disgusted. This is like the Stanley Cup is up for grabs. All right, every division winner in the NHL this season is gone. Is out of the playoffs. The Stanley Cup is up for grabs.
The Islanders could go to the finals.
Absolutely.
Which I would be very happy about. If they won the finals, that's even better. But I would be happy because I expected them to get to the finals.
Especially.
I'm not sure now. But
not today, but before the series started.
Yeah, definitely.
But when the Tampa Bay Lightning lost, to me, they were the clear Stanley Cup finalist or winner. They were the best team in hockey this season by far, and then they got swept in the first round.
Yep.
So it made no sense, but it threw the doors open. hey, anybody could win this now. So
It's open.
when you look at that, and I was very optimistic before this series started, and I will be optimistic again if the Islanders win 2 in Carolina, which I acknowledge is a tall order. But they were one of the best teams in the NHL on the road this season, which is a reason for optimism. The opposite of that, the antithesis of that optimism, is the Islanders' offense right now. And I was talking to another friend, Islander fan, Mark Diamore, who was also a Tottenham guy.
Okay.
But I said to him the other day, and I've said this in conversations, off the air conversations about in the last month or so. The one thing that worried me about the playoffs was whether or not the Islanders' offense was going to shut down at some point. Because this is not a high-powered offense. We're talking about
a better defense than an offense.
Exactly. We're talking about a team that is defense first, that they've been opportunistic with goals. They win a lot of games, 3-2, 2-1, so there hasn't been a whole lot of margin for error. But this has been a team for the entire season, basically, that they haven't overwhelmed teams offensively.
Right.
And they've gotten balanced scoring. That closes up in the playoffs. Teams focus more on defense. They are looking to shut other teams down more so in the playoffs than in the regular season, because they know if they don't play defense, their season's going to be over.
Now, let me ask you this, brother. Robin Leonard.
Leonard.
However, it's close to my name. Do we switch him out for Game 3?
No.
I don't.
Absolutely not.
I agree with you.
He's done nothing wrong.
No,
his goals against in 2 games is 1.5. What's he done wrong?
No,
he's been phenomenal.
And I count the overtime game as a fluke. Anyway,
he maybe could have covered his angle a little bit better on the goal, but
but nothing major.
The shot was from a bad angle. He took it out of his feet. It was a great shot.
It was.
So, maybe he can cover his angle a little bit better on that, but I can't really fault him for that. That was a phenomenal play.
And get this, I don't know what the sellout thing for the Islanders at the Barclays is.
Who knows?
But according to today's Newsday, it was 15,795. Coliseum's 13,900. So we're talking about less than 2,000 seats of a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Gary Bettman, all about the Benjamins.
So, and if you really wanted to do something with the Coliseum, you could have put standing room in around the bowl on the first floor.
I don't think they want to do that.
They could do it. I'm not saying they would.
But
the way they have standing room at we've been there at the Wrigley Field. Where,
it
could happen.
I hated that at Wrigley
Oh,
Field.
I hated that too. But you know what? One thing they do nice there is they say, "Okay, you're leaving." Yes, I am leaving. Okay, who needs a seat? And someone
Me.
gets it. Well, we did get seats. Remember?
Yeah, we got seats because browbeat an usher.
Well,
I got tired of standing because everybody there was standing up in front of us and not using their seats.
That's true.
So I finally said, look, if they're not going to use their seats, tell them to go stand somewhere else. Let me watch the game.
That's true. That was.
I went all New York on them.
That's right. So anyway, the next game is Wednesday and Friday, which you wish it was Tuesday and Thursday, but I know why they stretch this out.
Day off travel.
Yeah,
get a little practice. It's not a bad thing. Let's get some practice. Let's catch our breath, and let's focus on what needs to be done, and to accomplish the task. This is not going to be easy. I'll tell you that right now.
No, it's not.
It's not going to be easy.
Nope.
And it's going to take goals. And when you're talking about a team that scored 1 goal in 2 games, that's half a goal a game. That's not going to get you too many wins.
No, it's not.
So the Islanders need to get back to creating chances, crashing the net. They need to be more physical too.
Their
And
defense
it's a
was good.
physical team. This is a team that takes the body.
Yeah.
They need to really take the body on because let's face it, Wednesday they're playing for their lives. If they lose that game, that season's over. Plain and simple.
The Islanders have had a history of coming back after being down 3-0. So
come on.
That would it's happened a couple of times.
I understand that, brother.
So-
But we're talking about the 16 seed beating the 1 seed.
Okay.
It almost never happens.
It does happen.
It does. It's happened. It has happened. It almost never happens. All right.
So,
that's what we're dealing with. If they lose Game 3, trouble. And the sun will be setting.
It will
So
start.
that is a big deal. But they need to win Game 3, win Game 3, and then start from there. That's all you can do. You can't look at the big picture. You can't look at it and say, well, we need to win 4 out of 5 because that's a daunting task right there when you look at it from that standpoint. You need to just go into Game 3 and say, all right, we need to play well in Game 3. We need to do what we do, and we need to get a win out of this, and then move on to Game 4. That's it. Short goals.
By the way, the Daily News did send a person to write, or at least has a byline on the Islander
Does
game.
it say Daily News staff writer?
No, it just says New York Daily News. Guy named Edward Glazarev. I don't know who he is.
Don't know who he is.
So we're just saying, because last week it was just an AP story.
AP, yeah.
So,
I'll take a look at it. I'll see.
Yeah, I'll see. So anyway, brother, I think we've covered the Islanders. I love what Rob Tuck said, our friend. Going to the Barclays is an away game. In many ways.
More or less. I mean, and when you're talking, like I said, when you're talking about clueless fans who clearly are just bandwagon jumpers for the playoffs, and it's like something to do instead of going to like Avengers Endgame or something. Oh, let's go to the Islanders instead. Are you kidding? Like, seriously, that just it made me angry when I heard that. And my man Peter Simmons, same thing. He's an Islander season ticket. Remember we met him that time we went to the game. He was the guy in the bar.
Oh yeah.
That guy,
yeah.
English guy,
yeah.
West Ham guy too. I'll throw that out there for him. But he was infuriated because he saw and heard a lot of this stuff. And he basically said, "Look, if you're not going to support the team the entire year, don't be here for the playoffs.
Especially during the playoffs.
Don't be here for the playoffs. If the playoffs is going to be your first
game
of the season,
playoffs.
don't
they
come.
They made the playoffs. That's where you start with the Islanders.
Exactly, and this is when you need the biggest support for your team. And it can't be with fair weather people who knows how they even got the tickets, but
you know what? Also they have
there.
at the Barclays. They have that thing. It's that area. It's like a bar. They have the standing area.
If you say so.
It's on the other end of the ice where the stupid Honda car is. It's on the other end. And those people, there's this huge gap of people not watching because they're sitting at the bar.
It's a hangout.
It's not. If it was real hockey fans, they would all be standing lined up there. And who knows?
I don't know.
Anyway, brother, we're going to take a break right now. You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Tim, you're at Twitter at
Real Tim.
Hold it.
What?
I've got to.
What?
I've got
What?
something. One more thing.
What did you forget?
I've got to hit the promo. Here we go.
Dad, I think it's about time I got behind the wheel.
But you're only 8 and don't have a driver's license.
That doesn't matter. I'd touch a truck. Let's go!
This is your personal invitation for you and your entire family to join WHPC at Touch a Truck.
Touch a Truck is bigger and better than ever. More big trucks, more moon bounces, and more food trucks. Yum! Saturday, May 4th. Outdoors at NYCB Live, home of Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
This is a free community event.
Plus, visit the Family Health Fair for advice and giveaways. Don't forget, we're noise-free till noon for kids with sensitive ears.
You can get more Touch a Truck info at WBAB.com or WBLI.com.
Special thanks to 106.1 BLI and 102.3 WBAB for allowing all of us at the Voice of Nassau Community College to be a part of the fun.
Join WHBC at Touch a Truck thanks to NEFQ. Online at mynefq.org.
It's gonna be awesome!
Thanks for listening to 90.3 WHPC.
All hit music. For all those songs radio has forgotten about. Join me, Big Ed, Mondays from 10 a.m. till noon for The Good Gold Show. We'll bring back all the great hits of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and more. The sounds of doo-wop to disco, all the Motown, soul, and great rock and roll. We'll even take your requests and dedications to The Good Gold Show. Music. On the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, and streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
Ah, 10,000 Maniacs right here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. You've got the show called From the Press Box, here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It becomes a podcast later on all available podcasting sites, iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. Yeah, I was forgetting about iHeartRadio.
That's a big one.
That's the big one. Well, they're all big. They're all over the place, brother. You type in From the Press Box, we're right there.
Boom.
We're
Google.
right there.
Lots of Google.
Anyway, brother, last week Timmy he leaves me a message about Dave Gettleman, saying he's the smartest guy, smartest GM ever in
football.
football.
Never said that in my life.
That Gettleman should be given part ownership of the Giants based on his deals this year with the NFL and the Giants. You did say that, brother.
No, never.
You didn't? No, I thought you did.
Don't say ridiculous stuff on the air. People might believe it. This is how we got Fox News.
They can tell.
All right. So to respond to your comment, no, I never said any of that. I can't really even begin to say how angry I was when I'm watching the NFL draft on Thursday night. First of all, the fact that they even were doing an interview with Taylor Swift before the draft even started, and before they would even start the clock.
She's the biggest star.
Infuriated me
in pop music.
She doesn't belong there.
She doesn't belong there, but she's smart enough to be there because this was set up. First of all, after watching it, it was even worse than I imagined. All those people in the street, what they can't get more screens? It just seemed like 3 blocks of.
Yeah,
it's like they put it up in Times Square.
They said that approximately 500,000 people attended the draft, and I assume that's over the 3 days. But
that's still a lot.
500,000. And to just tell my brother who thinks the draft is unimportant.
It is unimportant.
So,
no.
Really
I said prelimming the draft is unimportant.
Well, either way. So, anyway, here comes Roger Goodell. The fans boo him.
Not as much as New York fans would.
Like usual. Yeah, of course. New York fans do it better. And here he comes with the pick. And I'm all excited. I'm doing like a little Facebook chat, with friends of mine and posting stuff, and it's all good, having a good time. And I'm like, all right, the linebacker, I forget his name, went 5th. Call the draft up on this. And I'm like, okay, hey, Josh Allen to the Giants, great. And 30 seconds later, here comes Roger Goodell. The New York Giants select Daniel Jones, quarterback, Duke University. And I screamed, Dave Gettleman, what are you doing? Are you insane? And I still can't understand what he was thinking. Why do you take who was the guy who was arguably anywhere from the 4th to the 6th best quarterback in the draft? Why are you taking that player 6th overall? It was so easy for Dave Gettleman to win this draft and to propel the Giants in a direction that would have been so much more positive for the franchise.
Now what,
and
what's wrong with him? What's wrong with Daniel Jones being chosen?
Because he's just not talented enough. I'm sure he's a great guy. We went through the whole pattern with the media. All right, Thursday or Friday's paper, it was, oh my God, what did Gettleman do?
Right.
He's crazy. You don't take Daniel Jones there. He's not worthy of the number 6 overall pick. You could have traded down, et cetera, et cetera. Then Saturday and Sunday they cover the draft, everything else, and they don't really worry about Daniel Jones too much because that was already written. And then today it was, well, here's why Daniel Jones could be the savior for the Giants. And here, let's talk to Jay Billis and Jay Billis' son, because Jay Billis coached Daniel Jones in AAU basketball.
That happens, brother. You build him up.
I understand it.
And then you knock him down.
I understand, and I understand it. And look, let me say this first. Daniel Jones could wind up being the next Phil Simms. We don't know for sure, but according to all the grades and all the analysis and all of the games that I saw from Daniel Jones, this pick was a massive mistake. When you have an elite pass rusher like Josh Allen who falls into your lap at a position of desperate need for the Giants, you don't let that player go to pick a quarterback who I have no doubt would have been there at 17. Now, Gettleman, who's in cover his ass mode afterwards, said that he was he had good information that at least 2 teams would have picked Jones before number 17. That is a load of, I'll just say, garbage. There is not a chance. Anybody with half a brain knew that the Redskins were taking Dwayne Haskins if the Giants didn't take him at 6.
Right.
Haskins is a Maryland guy. The owner down in Maryland, Dan Snyder, was completely enamored with Haskins. Apparently, Haskins played football with his son or something. So he wanted Haskins very much. So much so that he overruled his player personnel people. And the owner made that pick. How bad a franchise is it when the owner is making a pick? Well, at least Jerry Jones knows something about football.
You can ask our cousins who were long-time Washington Redskins fans.
So, who else was taking a quarterback? Somebody would have had to trade up. And even if they had, to me, after Kyler Murray, the quarterbacks were fairly interchangeable. And by quarterbacks, I'm talking about Locke, Drew Locke,
right.
Dwayne Haskins. And I wasn't even throwing Daniel Jones in there. I don't know that Daniel Jones can even be as good enough to be a starter in the NFL. And this is the guy that Gettleman picked at number 6. You can't miss on a number 6 pick. You just can't. So
well, especially where the Giants are. And why didn't the Giants go for Arizona's quarterback from last year?
Well, that was the other thing. This is how the Giants could have won the draft. Not only won it, but like I said, propelled their franchise so much ahead of where they were last week.
Right.
Number 1, you take Josh Allen with the number 6 overall pick. Number 2, you take the best offensive lineman available at number 17. Either that or you go for another defensive player. Jeffrey Simmons was on the board at 17. He was the second-rated player in this draft. Now, Jeffrey Simmons comes with baggage. All right? He was arrested when he was in high school for assault on a woman, and there's video of this incident.
Right.
He was breaking up a fight. His sister was – so for some reason, his sister was in a fight with a 30-year-old woman. I don't get this. But he broke it up, but then he unfortunately, he started punching the woman. I understand it, though. 18 years old, let's not attach too much significance to this.
And protecting his sister.
Protecting his sister, and then what to me was the best part for Simmons, his coach, his college AD, his college president, all vouched for him. Said this kid is a high-caliber human being.
Right.
He made one mistake. Kid's got a 4.0 grade point average.
Wow.
Does this sound like some dumb cement head that goes around punching people? No. So look at him from his last 3 years and judge him that way. He also, though, has a torn ACL, so he might sit out this season. But he was unquestionably the second-best player in the draft. All right? So, or you go with Montez Sweat, Mississippi State, edge rusher. So now you have 2 edge rushers. You could be a fearsome defense with these 2 guys. But no, he didn't go with it. Montez Sweat dropped like a rock.
He was number 26 with the Redskins.
Exactly. So I don't understand what Gettleman was doing. And then, the third thing was get Josh Rosen from the Cardinals, who desperately wanted to trade Josh Rosen and would have done it for a second-round pick. The Giants had the second-rounder that they traded up to get back into the first round, and they had all of these late-round picks that Gettleman gave away a couple of those to move back into the first round. So the Dolphins wind up getting Josh Rosen for a second and a fifth. I guarantee you that last year Josh Rosen's rating in the draft was higher than Daniel Jones. So you could have gotten the guy who was the 10th overall selection in last year's draft for a second rounder and a fifth rounder.
Yeah. Well.
So I don't understand.
But then again, why
what
didn't the
Gettleman
Cardinals
was thinking?
But then why didn't just on a separate point with the Cardinals, why didn't they do this move way before the draft? They knew who they were going to pick.
No, not necessarily. You can't do it because what if somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, we really want Kyler Murray. We'll give you 3 number 1s for him." You can't turn that down. You say yes, okay.
Yeah, but if you already traded your quarterback, then you say, "Well, no, we need this guy."
That's why you don't trade him until after you make the pick.
But you get a lot less.
Well, it doesn't matter. You had the number 1 overall pick. That's what's going to get you capital if you decide to make the move. somebody is going to make you a big offer for that pick. They're not going to make you a big offer for the quarterback who you're trying to push out of town. So the fact that they got a second and a fifth, it was they were never really going to get much more than that. But this is the part. I mean, I'm so angry at Gettleman because Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and take your pick at 17. Pick an offensive lineman. There's plenty of the what Gettleman loves to call the hog mollies. Plenty of guys there,
right?
Who they could have had. There was at least 2 or 3. The center from NC State, Bradbury, he was available. Who was the kid that picked the 22nd or 24th? Whitmore or something like that.
22 was Andre Dillard.
Dillard, that was the guy I'm thinking about. Offensive lineman, right?
Yeah. Offensive tackle, Philly.
Yeah. He's a guy who he had a lot of really good things were being said about him, and now Philly's got him. So there were players there, and now instead your number one pick is a guy who's going to sit an entire year, and all they're talking about is he's quarterback, from David Cutcliffe, and he says he reminds him of Peyton. Well, you know what? I don't know that he reminds him of Peyton. He doesn't really have that good an arm. He can't throw the long ball. His completion percentage on passes of more than 20 yards was 28%. He can't throw the long ball. He can't throw the bomb that Rob Leonard loves so much.
I love the bomb.
He can't throw it.
My question is, though, if this is Eli Manning's last season, which it could be.
It probably isn't.
That's the thing now. You sort of have to keep him around.
But that's a problem.
He's going to sign another 2-year contract.
No, he won't. No, they won't do that. He might sign a 1-year contract. They won't sign him to a 2-year contract. That would be idiotic.
He hasn't by the...
No.
I think he might.
Then if that's the case, then they get rid of him. Either that or they cut his salary, and instead of $20-something million a year, then you give him a Fitzpatrick contract where it's like 2 years for $14 million or something like that.
Yeah, well, that'd be okay.
But he's not going to make the kind of money that he's making now as a premier starting quarterback.
I don't expect to make the $20 million or whatever the going rate is. I don't expect that at all. But I expect him to be signed for 10 to 15.
Well, I'm angry because it seemed like so many observers knew more about what was going on in the draft than Dave Gettleman did. And why? And the other part about this is the third year in a row the Giants have selected the MVP of the Senior Bowl. So Gettleman said that he saw Daniel Jones down at the Senior Bowl, and he said he was in love. Immediately he fell in love. Daniel Jones played 3 series at the Senior Bowl.
That's it?
That's it. So Gettleman, who when he took the job, bragged about how much film he watched and how much work he does, 3 series. How do you fall in love with any player after 3 series? It's absurd. Absolutely absurd.
Love at first sight.
To me, like I said, I hope Daniel Jones becomes Phil Simms. I really do. I genuinely hope that 3 years down the road, if we're still doing this show, I will gladly apologize and say, you know what? 3 years ago, I was dead wrong about Daniel Jones. But I'm thinking more like in 3 or 4 years that we're going to be talking about Daniel Jones being released or traded by the Giants and saying, well, you know what? It's a shame it didn't work out, but this only set the Giants back 6 or 7 years.
He'll get traded to the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, because this move just reeks. Todd McShay of ESPN, when they asked him about the Giants pick, says, I think it was a mistake. Yeah. And I'm not saying that Todd McShay is the be-all and end-all, because I didn't hear him say it, but from what I heard, Mel Kiper Jr. actually defended the pick. But like I said, when you're talking about grades and evaluations, Daniel Jones, 4th or 5th or 6th best quarterback, and the Giants picked him as the 6th best player.
Yeah.
His ranking in the draft was somewhere in the high 50s. You don't take that player at number 6.
Well, they think otherwise, so it's going to be sad.
Either that or you trade down half a dozen picks.
I agree. I think you trade down and
nobody was taking this kid. Nobody.
I don't get it, but
the Broncos picked Drew Lock, number 42, 2nd round pick. He was higher rated than Daniel Jones. And then the 2nd round pick, they took Dexter Lawrence from Clemson, who will stop the run. He's a good player, but could have traded down and still gotten him. Because he's a big, fat guy. And I don't think Dexter Lawrence would mind me saying that. He's 342 pounds. He's an outstanding run stopper, but guys like that are becoming a dying breed in the NFL.
Yeah, because they can't run anymore.
He can run. He's actually fairly physical, and he can move the pocket, but he's not a sack guy. And Gettleman drafted him like he is going to be a sack guy because he did get some sacks as a freshman.
He's like,
that was 3 years ago.
That guy's like a John Madden guy, steak potatoes guy.
But again, he could have traded back a few picks and still gotten this kid. Some of the mock drafts I saw didn't even have him in the first round. So it's aggravating to me because I thought the rest of the draft he did pretty well.
Okay, well, I'll also just to quickly talk about the draft itself as, we're seeing this as really the first time as entertainment, with, Music City artists showing up. And who was it? Not Dierks Bentley. Who's the guy you said? He was actually part of the panel at one point. I forgot his name, but he was part of the panel for, I think it was the ABC.
Yeah, no, they had him. They had the different country artists on. I don't remember who it is because I don't know anything about country music. But yeah, they had he was part of the crew at one point. And I mean, this was the thing that aggravated me about the broadcast. Is they were doing the broadcast live out in the street. I don't even know how far from a stage that was blasting music.
Yeah.
Hello. And then a cover band behind the picks as they came behind the stage. It came out onto the stage after they were being picked. I understand. It's Music City. I get it.
Right.
I want to hear what they're saying. I don't want to hear some cover band.
Yeah, they should stop as soon as Goodell comes on the stage.
Yeah. But they were as soon as he made the pick, they started playing again. They're doing all kinds of cover. I mean, it's a cover band.
I know that.
At least get a real band. It's the NFL. Get a real band.
Well, the real band doesn't want to be up
Rascal
there.
Flats or something.
No, they have to have their own special intro. Who was the guy who jumped on Goodell when he came out? He literally almost knocked him over. I was
I forget. It was one. I think it was one of the Clemson guys.
I loved it.
Look that up. It's on YouTube. Goodell didn't even realize what was going on.
Clarence, what's his name?
Huh?
Clarence Farrell?
Cleveland Farrell. Was he? No, he was the number 4 pick. I don't think it was him. There was a lot of Clemson guys picked, brother. Don't just go for the first one.
Christian Wilkins?
Is it? Yeah, I think it was him.
Okay.
The big fat guy. Check it out on YouTube.
Okay.
Look, just put his name into YouTube. But yeah, he wanted to do like like what the players do. They jump and they like chest bump each other or they hit shoulders or backs or whatever, and they just kind of like jump into each other. And he wanted to do that with Goodell, and Goodell didn't get it because how many people actually do that with him? It's not something that happens in his office on a daily basis over in Midtown Manhattan. So now all of a sudden he's got this 330-pound guy flying at him. And then the guy gave Goodell the biggest hug in the world, and I was like, oh man! I understand he's excited, he's happy, he just got drafted, he's a first-round pick, but man, Goodell didn't see any of this coming.
Oh yeah, well, I'm watching it right now. He's doing this whole showboat thing.
That's not showboat. He's happy.
No, he's doing this thing. Well, now it's his mom. Where's the hug?
You got to fast forward if you're watching the video. Look, get him to the stage.
Yeah,
if he's hugging his mom, he's still in the green room area. But he was as happy as any draft pick.
Yeah, he gave
has
a
ever
hug,
been.
like literally was going to smush the Goodell.
Yeah,
here it is.
I think he wanted to pick him up or something.
There he is.
He gave him a big old bear hug. Look at that's a lot of human being coming at you.
Goodell actually looks like he's a human being right now.
But does Goodell look scared when he's coming?
No, he looks like, oh wow, this is better.
Goodell's sitting there, all of a sudden he sees this guy jumping, he's coming in the air. Oh
no! He's no David Stern, but hey.
No, David Stern.
I like David Stern.
David Stern was cool.
Yeah.
We like David Stern.
Yeah.
But all right, so anyway, the Giants. By the way, the Giants also their I think it was a 6th round pick. Corey Ballantyne of Washburn College, I believe it is. Apparently, was wounded. He was shot and wounded the night after the draft, and a teammate of his actually was shot and killed.
No, it was a Jets guy
during the celebration.
Wasn't that the
no,
Jets?
it was Giants guy, brother. Pay attention.
I thought it was a Jets.
So, I can't even explain this because, I mean, number one, nobody ever heard of Washburn College, but number two, this is supposed to be the greatest night, the greatest weekend of this kid's life, and instead now he's burying his best friend.
Don't they teach
his
him
roommate.
anything about Len Bias?
Well, I was going to bring up Len Bias, but I mean, I'm still trying to find out. Actually, Washburn University, not Washburn College. My bad. But I mean, I don't know what they were doing, how it happened. I'm still looking to get details on it. But this is celebrating with Dwayne Simmons at an off-campus party when shots rang out on a Topeka street at around 12:45 Sunday. Yeah. So who knows why or whatever.
If you get drafted, the first thing you do is go into hiding.
Well,
that's what you do. You go hang out with your parents or your family or whoever. You don't go hanging out with friends with guns.
Here's good news for Ballantyne is that the story that I'm reading in the New York Post said that he was transported to the hospital in a private car. So if it was a private car, number one, he probably wasn't bleeding very much, which is good. And number two, he didn't need an ambulance, which is also good.
Or he's in a private car because they're afraid he's going to die.
No.
Yes.
His injuries, they said, were not life-threatening. So, please, brother, read up. Don't put stuff like that out there. You don't know. You don't know.
What I'm saying, but the same thing, you don't know either.
Yes, I do know.
When John Lennon was murdered, they didn't wait for an ambulance. They put him in the cop car and drove him to Roosevelt Hospital.
Yeah, because he was about to die.
Yeah.
Well, that was a cop car. This is a private car.
Yeah, but the cop car was right there.
Oh, whatever. This is a pointless argument that you're having. Again.
I'm not. Anyway, brother, don't forget about Lyrics to Go every Friday at 11 p.m. Explore creativity of hip-hop music with host DJ Solero. That's every Friday at 11 p.m. Lyrics to Go right here on 90.3 WHPC. We're going to take a break. You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Give us a call. Give us a comment. 516-572-7440.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday evening at 6 on Revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve Kay, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday evening at 6 on Revelations, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Oh, I love that.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just on Facebook.
What are you liking?
I don't even know. I'm just mindlessly hitting like because, well, I just don't know.
At least like something that's worth actually liking.
Like what?
Like the new 90.3 WHPC page on Facebook.
Oh, I like that.
Search for 90.3 WHPC on Facebook and join the conversation happening right now on the voice of Nassau Community College. Yes, like 90.3 WHPC on Facebook.
I do like that.
As I was saying, like 90.3 WHPC on Facebook. From the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Come on, everybody. Let's sing along with Spruce.
Join me, Kim Tracy, for the music of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on Thunder Road, Sundays at 1 p.m. on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC and on the iHeartRadio app.
We're back here on From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. I'm Rob Leonard. He's, of course, my brother and award-winning sports writer, Tim Leonard, as we talk sports every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So we talked about the Giants. We talked about the Islanders.
I'm not sure the people actually got my rage about the Giants. I hope they did. I hope it came through.
I think you're very angry, brother.
Rage. It really was rage.
It was very rageful.
I genuinely think the Giants franchise has been set back at least 5 years, if not more.
I don't think it's 5 years. I think
Five. Picking the wrong quarterback is 5 years.
Well, maybe
because they're not going to pick another one.
No, but
I mean, let's look at it this way: the Giants they improved slightly in the offseason. This is still a 4-win team. You traded Odell Beckham Jr. This is a 4-win team. So the Giants are going to be back in the top 5 of the draft next year. Next year's quarterback class is going to be a lot better than this one. And now you're going to be looking at potential real replacements for Eli Manning. Are you going to do what the Cardinals did and waste a pick?
Yes.
And then
you always go for the best player. You know that.
But you're not going to be able to trade Daniel Jones for anything more than a third or fourth rounder. So now you just turned a number 6 overall pick into a third or fourth rounder.
Yeah, well,
that's dumb.
I agree with you, but that's their choice, not mine. Anyway, brother, the Jets. Let's quickly talk about the Jets. We got about
the Jets did the draft right.
We got to get to the Mets and the Yankees and the Jets. So
and the Champions League.
And the Champions League. Okay.
All the credit in the world to Maccagnan. Mike Maccagnan, he did it right. He picked the guy I said he should pick.
Of course. He listens to Tim Leonard. Of course he's right.
Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle, and the guy who many people thought was the best player in the draft. Some people said Nick Bosa, but I tell you what, Quinnen Williams was the highest-rated player in the draft according to NFL.com. So give me that guy. And that's who the Jets got. So, would they have maybe been better off with an edge rusher? I know fans were interested in Josh Allen to go to the Jets at number 3. Maybe, but I'll tell you what, nobody's going to run on the Jets now. And what this allows them to do, if you put Leonard Williams and Quinnen Williams, 2 Williams guys, you put them in the middle.
Right.
Now, opposing offenses are not going to be going up the middle against the Jets. So now you're kind of walling them off and pushing them to the sidelines, and now you can send linebackers into those areas, and you can really devastate people just by having those 2 guys in the middle on the line. You're going to push opposing offenses out, and you can send. Like I said, you could send linebackers, you could send safeties. It's like sending a hit squad after people, because the middle of the field, the Jets are going to control. So I like what the Jets did, and then they got C.J. Mosley, who is a tackling machine as a free agent. They overpaid him to a ridiculous amount, but he's going to make a lot of tackles this year. The Jets' defense should be a lot better this year, based on adding Quinnen Williams and the kind of player that he should be. He'll start immediately. So, nice job by Mike Maccagnan. They still didn't have a second-round pick, but they got an edge rusher in the 3rd round, a guy by the name of Ja'Kai Polite, I think he was out of Florida, if I remember correctly. I didn't write it down. But a 3rd-round pick, he ran a 4.84 at the Combine, so some decent speed off the edge. Could be a little better, but not bad. And they got an offensive tackle out of USC, Chuma Edoga, with their 2nd pick in the 3rd round. So they filled some needs, the Jets did, and that's a good thing. They only had 6 picks. Like I said, they didn't have a second-rounder because that's one of the picks that they traded to the Indianapolis Colts in the Sam Darnold deal. I thought Maccagnan might deal down at some point to try to make up and recoup some of that draft capital. He decided not to. I don't have a problem with it. The Jets got some decent players and guys who should be able to help them.
Maybe the Jets are the team in New York for the next couple of years.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Because, and we've said this before, the Jets have a quarterback. They started it the right way.
The Giants have a quarterback, too.
They don't have a good one.
They don't have anything to protect him.
But they don't have a good quarterback.
You think Eli's toast?
I do.
He's over.
I do.
He's over.
I do. He's too old. He's too old. He's taken too many hits. He turtles anytime he sees an opposing lineman coming at him or a linebacker. He turtles. He's not mobile enough to escape, so he just falls down so he doesn't get beaten.
Then trade him for a bag of footballs.
Nobody wants him. Who's going to take him?
Someone will take him.
Nobody won't.
Someone needs a quarterback.
You say
a backup quarterback.
He makes far too much money for somebody to take. The Giants would have to release him, and then if they release him, there's going to be this massive hole in their salary cap because it's going to be dead money on the cap. No. So you can't do it. Basically, the Giants are stuck with him. Well, I don't even know what his contract situation is. I hope there's only one more year left on it, but I fear there's more than that. But that's where we are with the Giants right now. They already have dead money from the Beckham contract, and Gettleman did about as bad a job on that as is humanly possible. They wind up with like $16 million of dead money on the books. This is what I'm talking about. It's just one bad decision after another. So,
according to Forbes, Manning has 2 years remaining on a 4-year, $84 million contract extension he signed in September 2015. So,
what? That doesn't make sense mathematically.
Well,
unless the extension didn't start until after, down the road. He's got 2 years left, so that's 20 and 21. 19 and 20.
Yeah, let's say.
So, all right, but still, I mean, it's not good. Anyway, enough about them.
Anyway, brother, let's quickly talk about the Mets. Jacob deGrom, after
what's
being
going
the
on?
guy last year, has not been what he's supposed to be.
DeGromer, I don't know what's wrong with DeGromer.
I don't either.
I mean, that's your guy. I don't know.
I don't know.
understand.
Bad quality starts.
Non-quality starts. This is the guy who every start was a quality start. 6 innings, 2 runs, whatever, less than 2 runs. He did that, 28 starts in a row or something like that. It was a record. Last 3 starts, all non-quality starts. Against the Brewers, he came off the injured list, and he got hammered.
He did.
5 runs, 5 hits, 3 walks in 4 innings. He did strike out 7, but I'll tell you what, the Mets got to be worried. Because he had some elbow pain. His elbow was barking, and the Mets shut him down for 10 days. They put him on the IL, and they said, all right, let's get this worked out. And then a day later, it was like, oh, yeah, Jacob's feeling pretty good. And, well, now he comes off the injured list, and he got rocked.
He did.
And he admitted that, hey, you know what? I'm not doing real well right now, and something's wrong. Well, now, hopefully it's not injury-related, but there's definitely something going on there. And 7 strikeouts is encouraging, but I need to know why he hasn't been as effective, because his last 3 starts have been
you worry that something's
mediocre
wrong
at
and
best.
they just haven't figured it out yet. Anyway, the Mets are in second place right now,
Good for
14
them.
and 13. The Yankees are in second place,
How about those Yankees?
17 and 11.
You know why the Yankees aren't in first place right now? Because they should be.
Well, they're a game and a half behind.
Because
Tampa
the
Bay.
Red Sox. Because the Red Sox couldn't beat Tampa Bay. Because the Red Sox are a garbage team. The
Really?
Yankees
You
should
sure
be.
about that?
The Yankees
You
should
sure
be in
about
first place. Where are the Red Sox right now? Go ahead, tell me their record.
They're 11 and 17.
11 and 17.
And they're in
Ooh.
4th place.
That's pretty bad.
And Baltimore's in 5th place.
What's Baltimore's record?
10 and 19.
Exactly.
And I saw 2 of their games because I had to cover them last week.
They're
for my
awful.
job. They were playing pretty good. Chris Davis was okay. He had a homer.
Chris Davis is not okay, believe me.
It's funny because, I'm watching the games, and they seem to hit the homers in the same spots.
Yeah, well, that's that ballpark.
Yeah, so.
Well, anyway, Yankees, I'll give you a quick synopsis on the Yankees.
We got 5 minutes, bro.
6-1 on the West Coast swing that they're currently on. They beat the Angels 3 out of 4, and they just swept the Giants. Even more injuries, which is just incredible. I can't believe that they haven't run out of players yet. They have so many injuries. Replacement third baseman Gio Urshela was hit on the hand with a pitch. Is supposedly getting an MRI or an X-ray today. DJ LeMahieu, who's been playing really well at second base, was taken out of the game with swelling in his knee. He actually hit a foul ball off his knee on Friday.
Ouch.
And then apparently it tightened up on him. Aaron Boone, after the game, started talking about residual on the UT, something. I don't even know what he was talking about. He has become far too familiar with medical information at this point, with a month into the season, with all the injuries that the Yankees
they've
have
had a lot of injuries. Of course
far
he's got
too many. He could get his medical degree in 2 weeks, I think, the way things are going. I gotta wonder, and I don't know. I haven't seen this story anywhere, and I'm hoping we see this story soon. Why haven't we seen a story about the Yankees medical staff, about their strength and conditioning people? 15 guys on the injured list. It's more than like 10 teams put together. Why haven't we seen a story? Because I'm sorry, I can't just keep attributing this to bad luck.
No, I agree.
Something's going on. You look at Severino, Luis Severino, the supposed ace of the staff. He had a shoulder issue in spring training. They shut him down. All right, that's fine. Well, then he came up with some kind of lat injury. That's a different injury completely. How does that happen? when you're rehabbing.
Are you doing too much weights? That's maybe the
Whatever
reason.
it is, they're not doing it right. Same thing, Giancarlo Stanton. He's been out with a biceps thing. Now he's got a different injury. So I don't know what's going on, but something is wrong with what they're doing and the medical people and the strength and conditioning people, because you're supposed to get better when you're on these lists and when you're rehabbing, and instead they're just getting new injuries. So I gotta know what is going on in that area of the franchise, because if the Yankees aren't going to be healthy all year, they're not going to win.
Of course,
plain and simple. And they're wasting an awful lot of salary paying guys who aren't playing right now.
No.
Gary Sanchez came back. He was out with a calf, I think it was. Faced the Angels. Didn't get any hits, but hit a 467-foot bomb of a grand slam against the Giants. You know that glove that they have out in whatever they're calling it, park nowadays? I think it used to be A&T. This is another one now. They have a glove out in left center field, like a big monster. He almost hit the ball into it.
Wow.
And it wouldn't have been an out, by the way. It would have been a home run. And then he hit another home run the next day. That one was 467, a record for the longest grand slam in the StatCast era. He hit another home run the next day that they said was 430 that had to be 480. I don't know where they got this measurement of 430. But they told Luke Voigt after the game, he was talking with Meredith Marakovitz, and he goes, did you see that bomb that Gary Sanchez hit? He goes, how long was that? It had to be like 470, 480. And Meredith says, 430. Luke Voigt rolled his eyes, turned away. He was disgusted. He was like, really? Are you kidding? It was, so much further. It was a jack.
Yeah. Well, one more thing about the Mets, Tim, and then I want to go
Yes,
quickly into soccer. What's with the deal with Robinson Cano having a target on his hand?
He's been hit in the hand twice.
Yeah,
that's not good.
That's not good at
not
all.
Good.
So,
that's
I worry
it's
about
something that the Mets maybe have to monitor. Cano probably should get a day or two off and just let some healing happen. Yeah. But he's also got to be a little quicker as far as getting out of the way too.
Okay, quickly, soccer, brother.
Soccer. Liverpool. Your Liverpool.
My boys at Liverpool. Yes.
They hammered Huddersfield this week 5-0. Easy win for them. But Man City, they managed to get by Burnley, defensive-minded Burnley, 10 in the box, doing nothing but parking the bus. They got the goal they needed and won 1-0 to remain in first place in the Premier League. 2 games remaining for both teams, brother. Your Liverpool 1 point behind. It's not going to happen for them. They're going to lose the title by 1 point because Manchester City is not going to lose either of their last 2 games. And the only way that Liverpool wins the title is if Manchester City stumbles. Man City has won 12 in a row. They're going to win 14 in a row to finish the season. And you're going to miss out on the title by 1 point.
I was just talking to Big Ed about this, and he thinks that Liverpool's going to be the division champion.
Man City has to stumble. Man City is not going to stumble.
Big Ed's a big soccer fan.
Anyway, so like I said, Liverpool hoping for the slip up that is unlikely to happen. Tottenham lost their first match at the new stadium to West Ham 1-0 in one of the London derbies. But Spurs maintained third place because Chelsea and Manchester United tied 1-1, and Arsenal was embarrassed by Leicester 3-0. Chelsea currently holds fourth place. They are 2 points behind Spurs. If Spurs just have to win their last 2 games to clinch for third place. The Champions League, brother, semifinals start tomorrow.
Right.
Tottenham, Ajax. That's Ajax at Tottenham at the new White Hart Lane.
Yes.
Wednesday, Liverpool will face Barcelona at the Camp Nou in Spain. Another big match. Many people are thinking that is the final. But as I said, when Tottenham faced Manchester City, be ready for a shock the world moment because I think another one is coming. So Tottenham needs to play better, much better, obviously, against Ajax than they played against West Ham. But it's been a lot of games in a short amount of time, and Spurs are dealing with some injuries. I'm hoping for a 1-0 victory on tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens on Wednesday. I'm not really worried about it. But then they go to Ajax in the Netherlands for next week as the second leg.
We look forward to that, brother.
Yes.
Thank you, brother. I am Rob Leonard. He is
Tim Leonard.
And we host this show from the Press Box every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Don't forget about all the other sports shows here on Sports Talk, Mondays at 5, Tuesdays at 5, Thursdays at 9, Fridays at 3. And this show will be a podcast later on if you missed any of it or you want to hear it again or whatever. My name is Rob Leonard. Thank you for listening. Coming up next, they don't call him Big Ed for nothing. Big Ed and the Good Gold Show. Keep it tuned here. Take care. Bye-bye.
The views expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHPC, its management, or Nassau Community College. Responsible opposing viewpoints will be considered by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu or by mail at WHPC 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York 11530. Thanks for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.